Welcome back, race fans, to the 2022 Midwest Sim Racing Association Rapid Fire Pizza Nationals. We're looking for another exciting race here today as we are at the Lobster 150 at the virtual New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We've got, looks like it's going to be 150 laps with a stage break on lap 55 and guaranteed excitement. As always, I'm your host, James East, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, bringing the action 1080p 60 frames a second. As it looks like drivers getting lined up on the grid. And let's take a look. It's going to be Colby Baber starting up first. Robert Norfleet starting second. Matt White starting third. Kenny Meadows starting fourth. David Centini starts fifth. Brent Wall starting sixth. Douglas Bell starts seventh. Julio Villalobos starting eighth. Mike Howerton starts ninth. Billy Fitzgerald starting 10th. Jeffrey Meyer starting 11th. We've got Barry Stevens starting 12th. Cycling the back, Evan Longacre starts 13th. Braxton DeWeese starting 14th. Diego Villalobos starting 15th. John Midget starts 16th. Timothy Davis starts 17th. Robert Cook starts 18th. Dad Gwinningsman starts 19th. Scott Stevens starting 20th. John Binder starting 21st. Kyle Mulring starting 22nd. And Richard Malugani will round out the 23-car grid. Now let's get ready for action. Pace car should be making its way in this time by. David Norfleet on that front row. Pace car is in, away we go. Baber with a big launch. Looks like Kenny Meadows and Matt White are gonna duke it out early here. Oh, look at that, that's the 56, just reappeared out of nowhere. I think that's gonna be Norfleet. As yes, it shows something has happened. He shows at the very bottom of the standings. So something happened with that massive blink as we hint at going 3 wide. Centeni sneaks up the middle. And Norfleet definitely having problems there in the 56. There's Kenny Meadows, the 96 machine. Looks like Douglas Bell has a big run the inside line as well. And look at the 3 wide action here this evening. As up front it's Baber, Centeni, White, charging forward as everybody else in the field still kind of figuring out where we're gonna slot in. Checking in on Brent Wall, the number 6 Ford Mustang. Started off 6th, currently holding on to that spot. But right behind him, that's Barry Stevens, the 78, up 5 spots early on. As everybody jockeying for position here. And it looks like that's the 51. I believe that is going to be Howerton, who I think's running a new paint here tonight. He's battling out with Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese working the high line. DeWeese up 5 spots so far early on. And great racing all across the track. Looks like it's going to be Kenny Meadows, Douglas Bell. Bell slotting up the inside line against that 96 to take over the 4th place spot. He's now up 3 positions. Like drivers starting to get relatively slotted in, holding on to it. Braxton DeWeese holding on to that spot. He's got Brent Wall, Mike Howerton right behind him. Looks like Wall's going to lose yet another spot here to Howerton. And now Billy Fitzgerald, the number 22 machine, trying to throw his nose up into the mix. A little bit of contact. Driver starting to pile into that wall. And it looks like Evan Longacre The 95 has some good front row seats. He's got Meyer, Villalobos, Fitzgerald all right in front of him here. I believe that's Fitzgerald, and it looked like I think it was Meyer side by side momentarily. The number 22 holding on the inside line. Meyer trying to work the high line. Fitzgerald looks for another spot here against Villalobos Jr., the 45. But tough to get that momentum built up when you're squeezing down the inside of the track. Number 50 machine of Meyer looks like he was trying to get leaning on to Villalobos. As now Fitzgerald and Longacre side by side. You've also got John Midden, the 29 machine, tucking him behind. And we are too wide, too deep for the battle for 11th place. As we go on board Evan Longacre. He's got Meyer and Villalobos just ahead of him. And so far things looking clean for the guys. Longacre throwing it in very, very deep there. Trying to find as much time as he can on the brakes is right ahead. That's Meyer and Villalobos still going at it. No contact between the two. Looks like Villalobos was able to hold on to it there, I think. Relatively slow, so let's take a look, see what happened between those two. Taking a look here at our instant replay, it looks like Villalobos, the 45, the right side of your screen was a little bit unsettled there. Drives it in just a little bit too deep. Comes up into the 50. Of course, that's Jeffrey Meyer. Will these drivers be able to keep it off the wall as they tandem drift around here in New Hampshire? Looks like so far so good. Both drivers able to keep it off the wall at least. Let's see, I thought I saw Villalobos doing a little bit more spinning there. But no, just doing a good job holding the brakes, letting the field come by before rejoining. That will be our first caution of the evening. With our first caution of the evening, Colby Weber, the number 10 machine, sits up top. Centeni second, up 3 positions. Matt White holds on to third. You got Douglas Bell running fourth. He's also up 3 spots. And Kenny Meadows, the 96 machine, will round out the top 5. Now we're still wildly not even close to the stage break here tonight. That's going to be on lap 55. It'll be interesting to see if that early caution maybe sets the tone for the night. And maybe we can get some long green flag runs. Now it showed Robert Norfleet involved in a crash. Probably just locking up the brakes to allow the field by if I had to take a professional wager here. So as we rock and roll under eye-pacing conditions, we're waiting for the grid to get double file once more. And it looks like we're just about ready to go. Baber, Centeni, the front row. White, Bell, your second row. Meadows and Norfleet, your third row. Now, always interesting to get those early cautions because the long-run drivers really haven't had an opportunity to show what they've got underneath their belt here. And as you know, week in and week out, I love me some green flag racing. Allowing these drivers to show their skills on the track as well as their strategy calls. Race car is in. And away they go, baby, with another great launch. And it looks like Matt White, Centini having a heated battle for second. This may give Baber another breakaway that he's looking for. Douglas Bell, who's also up 3 spots, that number 11 machine just ahead of Kenny Meadows, the 96, is going to keep that momentum going. Oh, we've got incidents. It shows Villalobos Jr. involved in a crash. Are we going to get a caution? Doesn't look like it. So we will avoid repeat cautions here, as Villalobos was able to get going back out on track. A little bit further back, it seems like maybe the field's calmed down just a little bit here. A lot of single file. And maybe, just maybe, drivers can start getting into a groove and putting these open setups, Xfinity machines in to work and see what can happen. As we're checking in on Robert Norfleet at 56, he's down 6 spots showing as of now, but I think early in the race he was showing absolute last with that big blinking issue he had, so good to see him out on track and in some sort of contention here. Now only a spattering of drivers came down pit road on that lap 10 caution. Diego Villalobos, Timothy Davis, Richard Malagani, Julio Villalobos Jr. came down pit road for what I would imagine is a little bit of repairs. And we've got great battles all across the track. Here we have on camera Robert Cook, Jeffrey Meyer. Meyer, the number 50 machine, he's down 5 spots from where he qualified. As Robert Cook, the bright black and yellow 64, he's up 3 spots as Meyer tries to fire back. We've also got Mike Howerton and Evan Longacre linked up nose to tail. These drivers running 9th and 10th, 18 laps in. Looks like Longacre taking another peek at the inside line of the 51. Howerton has a little bit better drive down the backstretch here in New Hampshire. Longacre is going to try sending it in deep through 3 and 4. Because right ahead of them, I think that's going to be Braxton DeWeese, Robert Norfleet battling for 7. Longacre looks like he's going to get the position nice and tidy, as it is actually a 3-car battle for 6. Barry Stevens, Braxton DeWeese, Robert Norfleet, as Stevens and DeWeese leaning on each other here. As all around the field starting to bunch up slightly. Here's Matt White. Squeezed in the middle of Colby Baber, David Centini. Your top three drivers within a half second of each other, and don't count out Douglas Bell as well, the number 11 machine, who sits in fourth up 3 spots. Showing another incident out on track. Diego Villalobos, the 43, having issues. That's going to allow Richard Malagani by in the number 2. Malagani gaining a couple of spots here tonight due to attrition. New Hampshire, not the easiest track to drive as we watch Braxton Deweese, Barry Stevens, Robert Norfleet line in formation. This is 6th, 7th, and 8th on camera right now. Norfleet and Stevens going at it. Braxton Deweese, that number 8 machine, looks to be our current hard charger. He is up 8 positions. As it looks like Stevens, the 78 Chevrolet, gonna make that pass on Norfleet's 4, but no. Norfleet fires back around the outside line, carrying a little bit more momentum. And here comes Evan Longacre, the 95 machine. He wants to get his nose up in the fray. Some really great racing going around all across the track here. While most of the field fairly spread out, we got packs of 2, 3, 4 different drivers trying to make some moves. As we check back in on Colby Baber, he's pulled about a half second over Matt White. White has Centeni 2/10 off the rear bumper of that 48 machine. As this wide camera angle showing how much of a gap these top 4 drivers are able to pull after that lap 10 caution. As White just clicking off laps in the 48. As Matt White has a whole lot of company. There's Centeni to 79. He's gained 2 spots so far, trying to work his way around that 48 machine to see if he can score just a few more points. We have that upcoming stage caution on lap 55. And it looks like White able to extend that gap a little bit more. As we also pan back to Robert Norfleet, Evan Longacre, these two have still been right with each other over the course of the run. Longacre up 5 spots. You can see Braxton Deweese sitting in 6th, up 8 positions. And now Longacre puts the pressure on Norfleet. Ooh, the back end stepping out a little bit there. Now, very impressed. Norfleet able to hold on to it for as long as he can. As Longacre doing everything in his power to work that inside line. Maybe Longacre's going to make it happen here. But it's so tough when you got that 95 Chevrolet pinned down the inside line. Tough to make any big moves. And it looks like Longacre's still not able to make it happen, getting closer and closer as Norfleet defends heavily in the 7th place spot. And that may allow Barry Stevens, the 78 machine, to close the gap. That might be the advantage that Longacre needs. Looks like Norfleet pushes up the track side by side, and the battle for 7th has been going on quite a while, but Norfleet just carrying a little bit more momentum. It looks like through 3 and 4. As we've got to interrupt this party, there's a battle for 2nd going on as well. 35 laps in, that's Matt White, David Centeni side by side. Centeni, the inside line, the predominantly white 79, the white, black, and I'd almost call it an orange gold color 48 machine. He's glued up against the wall. And this is almost identical to what we were seeing between Longacre and Norfleet. Longacre was able to make that pass up for 7th. And Centeni will sit in the 2nd place spot in the 79 after edging out White's 48. Lap time's definitely starting to fall off for these drivers. Your race leader, Colby Baber, his last time by a 31.8. His fastest lap of the race, a 30.7. As it looks like just about everybody behind him having to slow down slightly as they continue duking it out. Braxton Deweese has made a move on Kenny Meadows. The number 8 machine now up 9 positions. But it looks like it's going to be John Binder, the 33 machine. We haven't talked about him much tonight. Had a rough go in qualifying, started 21st. He has worked his way up 10 positions so far here this evening. And there's a great shot. 2 different battles out on track. It's Braxton Deweese, Kenny Meadows battling for 5th. You also saw Longacre and Norfleet battling for 7th. It looks like once again drivers kind of settling down a little bit. And there's the 7/10 gap your race leader, Haber, the number 10 machine, currently has. Douglas Bell starting to close the gap up to Matt White, trying to work his way into a podium contention here. Now Bell in a good spot. He's got relatively clear track behind him. We got Braxton Deweese in 5th. He's about 3 seconds back. And And it looks like Bell and Deweese ran almost identical lap times that last time by. So Bell just having to focus on what's ahead of him here, as drivers have about 14 more laps until the planned stage caution, barring any incidents we might have before that. As it looks like Bell closing the gap to White down to about 0.4 of a second. As up ahead, it looks like the race leaders might have a little bit of traffic to contend with. That was Centeni working around the 43 of Diego Villalobos. Now, will this affect White in the 48? If he's not able to get around traffic very quickly, that may allow Bell a chance to strike. Good battle out on track. John Midget, Chad Gwennig's men battling for the 12th place spot. They're about 3 seconds back from John Binder, who's up 10 spots. Our hard charger sitting in 11th. And you've also got Robert Cook, the 64 machine, not afraid to throw it up the inside line. Jeffrey Meyer, the number 50 machine, trying to get up in on this as well. And we go side by side. Robert Cook, John Midget, Jeffrey Meyer wants to stick a nose in. What opening is he going to find? As Midget and Cook dangerously close to each other. On board the number 50 machine of Jeffrey Meyer. Looks like Cook's in the 13th place spot, Midget the 14th place spot. Man, you can hear how much Meyer's having to check up, feather the throttle to avoid pushing wide into the 29 machine. Settle down slightly. You got Scott Stevens, Brent Wall battling for 16th, about 6 laps. Whoa! I think that was Stevens. A big moment coming out of 2. Got all sorts of out of shape in the 55. As we check back in on race leader, Kobe Weber has extended the gap to 1.25 seconds over David Centeni, who sits in second. As it looks like Baber going to have a little bit of traffic to contend with. He's got about 4 laps left to go before the stage break. It'll be interesting if he starts to catch up to these guys or if maybe he gets saved by the bell. Just a couple laps left to go. And it looks like Colby Baber. 1 lap left to go before the stage break. He's catching up to traffic. And maybe Villavicino will be able to fight to stay on the lead lap here before that yellow flag is thrown. Waiting for the caution to come out, waiting for the lights to come on the side of the track. As the caution lights turn on, and we will end the stage. 1 caution so far. Colby Baber in the top spot. David Centeni finishing 2nd. Matt White finishing 3rd. Douglas Bell 4th. Braxton DeWeese 5th. Kenny Meadows 6th. Evan Longacre 7th, Robert Norfleet 8th, Mike Howerton 9th, and John Binder will round out the top 10 at the completion of this stage caution. As everybody's going to come down pit road here. And let's see, I would imagine everybody's going to take 4 fresh tires in this stop. I don't predict anybody's going to gamble too heavily here on pit strategy. As Baber leaves, Centeni holds on to 2nd, White 3rd, Bell 4th, Meadows 5th. So it looks like things are going to remain just about constant here. So 1 early caution into the stage. Other than that, it was clean green flag racing. And let's see if we can get one of those rapid-fired pizza National Series green flag runs we've come to know and expect out of these drivers. Looks like the number 43 machine of Diego Villalobos getting the lucky dog wave around. Everybody gridded up, double file. Faber, Centennial on the front row. White, Bell, your second row. Meadows, Norfleet, your third row. As we get ready for that iRacing safety car to make its way down pit road. With about 95 laps left in the race. Faber with another massive launch. White trying to get his nose in against Centennial, who I would imagine going to fight tooth and nail. And look at the field stacking up behind. That's Douglas Bell having his hands full. And it looks like Norfleet and Meadows battling hard for that 5th place spot. Looks like Meadows trying to get a nose in against Norfleet. And these guys are duking it out. Douglas Bell holding the 4th place spot. He's got Norfleet right behind. Meadows is down 2 positions in that 96, wanting to get back up into the fray. As right now, for the most part, your top 3 getting a little bit of a breakaway. That's Faber, Centennial, and White. They've all got about a 6/10 gap over the rest of the field. But let's go back to John Binder, who is making massive moves in the 33. He is up 14 positions, just getting around Howerton, moving into the 7th place spot. And Binder has a bit of a breakaway here. He's going to try and track down Kenny Meadows, who's about 9/10 ahead of the 96. Meadows runs 6. Of course, Binder running 7. And this is where you can really see the guys kind of show what they built the car for with the different setups. Some drivers really valuing short run pace. Other drivers setting up for the long run, hoping for clean green flag racing. And speaking of racing up front, Centeni has closed the gap to Colby Baber. Down to just about a 10.5 here. Centeni all over the back bumper of the number 10 machine. He may feel like he has the pace to try and make something happen. Baber stretches the gap back to about 1/4 of a second. Centeni has the carrot in front of him, but got to be careful not to take too many lunges. We've got a long way left to go. I would imagine drivers will come down pit road around the lap 120, 130 mark at the latest when the fuel window will close. And these two absolutely going at it. A long way left to go before we can make it to the end here. About 5 more laps left to go before we reach the halfway mark. Baber able just to keep just a little bit of a gap on Centeni here. As we're going to go a little bit further back in the field, as it's going to be Mike Howerton, Chad Gwinnigsman linked up, running 9th and 10th. You can just barely see Robert Cook, 64 machine, trying to break inside the top 10 as well as he runs around in 11th. Here we go, Howerton firing back in the 51, Gwinnigsman trying to get something going here. And to be fair, Gwinnigsman does have something going. He's up 9 positions so far tonight. But let's go a little bit further back, right behind Jeffrey Meyer is Julio Villalobos. A little bit of contact there between Meyer and Villalobos. Braxton Deweese, Brent Wall in the fray as well. Villalobos will work his way up into 12th, sliding through the field. As look at this frantic battle. Brent Wall, Jeffrey Meyer, John Midget, Barry Stevens. A 4-car battle for 14. We've got some great racing all across the track here. There's Evan Longacre, John Binder. Binder's still our hard charger, up 13 positions as Longacre makes the pass. About 8/10 behind him is that battle we were just talking about with Howerton and Gwinningsman, where Howerton edged his way through. And now this is the point of the run. The long run drivers gonna get things sorted out, rocking and rolling. As now Gwinningsman will see Robert Cook closing the gap. Wanting to interject himself, trying to get into the top 10. And so far been a very respectable green flag runs for these drivers. As it is a 3-car battle for 6. Kitty Meadows trying to fend off Evan Longacre, who's charging up towards the front. John Binder, our hard charger, wants to get a little bit more momentum going up. But did Binder maybe set up the car for short run speed? All of these drivers on the same tire strategy after our stage break. Looks like Binder has a good run here. Will we be able to do anything with it against Longacre? We panned to Howerton by accident. Longacre, though, putting the pressure on Meadows. Villalobos, the 43, has come down pit road for a green flag stop. And look at this, we've got some heated action going on to battle for 6. Binder working his way up alongside the inside of Kenny Meadows. Meadows fires back, carrying just a little bit more momentum down the back stretch. Binder trying to work that inside line, but will he be able to get enough momentum to edge out the 96? This is going to give Longacre a bit of a breakaway in that 6th place spot. Binder gets very, very squirrely there, trying to put the power down. Loses the momentum. He's going to try and tuck in behind Meadows, get some pace built back up. because now with that battle, that has allowed the likes of Howerton and Quinigsman to close the gap to less than a second to what was a 3-car battle for 6th. You've also got Robert Cook. He's tucked in behind Quinigsman. No, he's blitzing around the number 9 machine. Cook picks up a spot. As up front, I should say a little bit further up front, this is still the battle for 7. Binder has edged out Meadows, taking over his 14 positions gained, but this has given Longacre in 6th quite a healthy advantage and a lot of clean air for that 95. As Binder and Meadows spent a whole lot of time battling it out here. Checking back in on race leader Colby Baber. The number 10 machine has, oh, who's that? Is that the 48? Yeah, that's Matt White goes for a ride. And that's going to bring out the caution on lap 88. Let's see what happened to White. That got that number 48 machine careening around. Looked like, yeah, that was going to be out of turn 2. Checking in on White, the 48. Looks like just gets a little bit loose out of 2. Locks up the brakes, keeps it pointing the right direction. And the caution lights get triggered with a slow car on track. So that will be the 48 Matt White solo car incident. Thankfully no damage, but that will be our 2nd caution of the evening. Now I think here just about everybody's gonna come down pit road. Grab 4 fresh tires, get back out on track. Pretty healthy run, a bit over 30 some odd laps of green flag racing. And let's see, does everybody come down pit road? Looks like yes will be the resounding answer. Looking at live timing and scoring, everybody taking 4 tires, nobody trying to gamble on strategy. As we wait to get them gridded up behind our iRacing safety car. Baber holding on to that number 10 machine. He's been extremely dominant so far this evening. Get them gridded up, double file. Baber, Centennial the front row, Norfleet. Bell, your second row. Looks like it's going to be White and Longacre, your third row. And we did get a report, looks like Jeffrey Meyer got a pit road penalty on that last stop. And away we go once more. Baber with a great launch. As everybody goes shuffling into one. The field able to get through nice and clear. No! That looked like it was John Binder, I think. Oh no, was that Binder, who was our hard charger, involved in that? It was like Kenny Meadows also involved. So another quick caution. Let's see what just happened there. Taking a look at our rapid-fired pizza old school ninjas instant replay. You're watching the 96 of Kenny Meadows, the 33 of John Binder. See what happened to Meadows as he pushed wide. He's following behind Longacre. Looks like he just overcorrected slightly, tried to get it pointing the right direction. Binder gets into him, and they're both going to go for a wild ride here. Oh, it looked like Meadows almost had a blow over there. Binder was mostly able to keep it on the asphalt, but look how far Meadows slid all the way down to the spectator area against the inside wall, tagging the tire barrier. And unfortunately, not what he was looking for both drivers, who have been very, very quick. And a early caution after that one. And we are once again pacing around the track here in New Hampshire. Going to get everybody settled behind our iRacing safety car. Bobby Baber still going to be out front. Centennial second, Norfleet third, Bell fourth, White currently fifth on track. Definitely a rough night for the drivers here tonight. That's going to put us a little bit over 60 laps left to go in tonight's main event. As the list of drivers done and out of this event continues to climb, as well as the amount of cautions we've seen so far tonight. So not getting crazy long green flag runs that we've come to expect. And definitely turning into a bit of a battle a battle of attrition. Looks like drivers starting to get settled in behind that racing safety car, the iRacing safety car. The next time, I believe we're going to get our drivers gridded up double file once more. We'll try this again. Now the drivers that have retired for the evening, Billy Fitzgerald, Kyle Mullering, Diego Villalobos, all done and out here. As here we go, double file. Looks like it's still going to be, I believe, 20 drivers on the lead lap, so everybody who's still out there at least staying on the lead lap as Meadows tries to catch up to the field. Pace car will begin this time by and we return to green flag racing. Baber with a big launch, Centennial on the high line, but keep an eye out as here comes Robert Norfleet. No, getting the door shut off by Centennial there. So Norfleet's going to have to hold on to third place in the 56 machine as the field stacks up behind him. So that's going to be Douglas Bell. He's got Matt White, Longacre, Howerton, Gwinnigsman, Cook all in the fray here. So everybody trying to get sorted into position. As we all know, cautions tend to breed cautions. It'll be interesting to see if this restart's going to hold strong. Oh, we got somebody skirting around back there. Looks like that was Davis, and the 92 machine had a big moment come out of two. We've seen these drivers really fight to keep the grip in the rear. As we go mid-pack somewhat, there's Brent Wall, Barry Stevens. It's the battle for 11th. They're about 3/10 back from Robert Cook's 64 machine. And the number 6 of Wall takes a peek to the inside line. The 78 is Stevens. Stevens carries just a little bit more speed there. Coming into turn 1 out of 2. As we've got somebody else going for a wild ride. That's Scott Stevens, the 55. Not seeing a caution as of yet. So somehow we'll keep things moving forward with Scott Stevens taking a hard hit to the inside wall. And up front, Baber has company with the likes of David Centenny. That is what a 7/10 gap looks like as Robert Norfleet trying to close the gap once more in the 56. And look at this, 2 by 2 as Julio Villalobos, John Binder, Kenny Meadows, Jeffrey Meyer, all battling from about 14th place back. I heard very briefly somebody tagging that outside wall, not seeing a crash. As Villalobos has company from the 33 machine of Binder. Binder was way up front early on, up to 14 positions. And with that incident, now he's only up 7 positions. Still a hard-fought battle so far. As I think number 29 machine, the midget, has a bit of connection issues as he's tucked in behind Brent Wall's number 6 machine. Such great racing all across the track here tonight. Also got a battle going on between Gwinnigsman and Howerton. Gwinnigsman showing up 11 positions in the bright red number 9. Howerton, the 51, up 2 spots. It looks like Braxton Luis, one of those drivers that's either very fast in the number 8 machine or marred with rough races. He's starting to climb back up towards the front. Luis up 5 spots in that number 8 Chevrolet. And if Howerton and Gwinnigsman keep throwing those shots at each other, that's going to allow Deweese, who might be doing a little bit of tire saving behind, catch up and close the gap. So it is a heated 3-car battle for 7th. Howerton, Gwinnigsman, Luis, really, really close. You've also got a battle for 14th going on with Villalobos, Meadows, and Binder in the fray. And that's the good thing about calling the races here at the Rapid Fired Pizza Nationals. Doesn't matter where you're out on track, out there fighting for your personal best. Somewhere close is going to be somebody for you to race hard with. Checking back in on Douglas Bell. He's about 2/10 back from Norfleet. You've also got Matt White in that 48 machine, trying to regain the 2 positions he lost throughout tonight's run. Now, I don't want to hit it with the commentator's curse, but I was going to say the drivers have calmed down slightly as Gwynixman throws it in insanely deep against Howerton. But with those inside lunges, it really slows down your momentum out of 2 down the backstretch. Howerton able to carry a more swooping line up against the wall, carrying the momentum, and arguably, more importantly, possibly saving a bit of tires here. As Gwynixman not going to try and yield, holding on to that 7th place spot. Howerton gets a wheel in front as they cross the line, 108 laps in. And Braxton DeWeese just enjoying the show in the number 8 machine. Watching these 2 guys just go at it. Ooh, that's a great time to pan to Braxton DeWeese. As Howerton and Gwynixman almost making contact through 2. DeWeese almost fully off the gas through 3 and 4. Got to be careful here not to interject himself too much into the party. Because if those 2 drivers of Gwynixman and Howerton have any problems, any issues, not leaving yourself a lot of escape room. Standing back up front for the battle for 3rd, Robert Norfleet has Douglas Bell tucked in behind him. You can see Matt White just ever so slightly lagging back in the 48 machine, as well as Evan Longacre holding on to 6th, as Baber and Centini checking out here up front. And it looks to me like Bell really looking to that inside line. We saw it pan out for Gwynixman. And this is going to open the door for Matt White in the 48. Norfleet pushed high up the track out of 4. Bell taking over the 3rd place spot up 4 positions. And it looks like now White in the 48 going to try and take advantage of that as well. He's going to move up to 4th as Norfleet gets shuffled back to 5th. And the battle for 3rd continues. Here comes Matt White, trying to edge out Douglas Bell, taking a peek at the inside line. I don't think White has the momentum he needs yet. And as I say that, White extremely hard on the brakes, diving in very, very deep. And I think he's going to get clear here. Yes, he does, as Bell has a bobble, losing the rear end. So just like that, Matt White back up into 3rd place where he qualified. And now that 48's got to put his head down to try and close the 2-second gap that is in the favor of Colby Baber and David Centeni. Got a battle now between Villalobos and Midget. Midget having very bad connection issues in the 29. Malugani sitting in 17th in that number 2 machine. Oh, is that? No, that's John Binder, excuse me, in the 33, the bright red 33. And this is going to be tough for Villalobos to make a pass. Not able to predict where that 29 machine of Midget's going to be. A little bit further ahead, I think Robert Cook must have had issues in the 64. He's going to lose 2 spots to Kenny Meadows and Brent Wall. Meadows still trying to get back up inside the top 10, but it looks like Cook finds a little bit of time to at least harass Wall, but Wall ripping the high line, carrying some speed here, will secure the 12th place spot. Barry Stevens trying to carry some forward momentum. He's pressuring Howerton for the 9th place spot. Both drivers securely inside the top 10 at this point. Stevens in the old school Ninja back 78 machine. Looks like the field's starting to bunch up here from, I believe that's going to be 6th place, no, 7th place back. Gwenigsman, DeWeese, Howerton, Stevens, Kenny Meadows getting ready to join the pack here. We're about 7th or 11th place. Everybody's starting to bunch up a little bit. Let's check back in on race leader Baber, the number 10 Toyota Camry. He's got Centeni stalking him from behind in the 79. Last time by, both drivers clicked off 31.55s, gaining almost a half second on the 3rd place driver, Matt White, who now falls about 3 seconds behind these top 2 drivers. Now, I wonder if Centeni in that 79 Chevrolet is going to make any big lunges here, maybe try and get through a bit of a fuel run, as he, in theory, should be getting a little bit aero advantage in his Chevrolet off the Toyota in front of him. Baber pushing the air out of the way for the 79 machine. Panning back, Braxton DeWeese, Chad Gwenigsman battling for 7th. Gwenigsman up 7 spots, DeWeese up 6. The number 8 machine has always been very quick on the long runs when he doesn't have internet issues. And he's taking a peek up along the inside of the number 9. Side by side they go down the back stretch. Who's got the momentum? Looks like DeWeese able to fully get clear of Gwenigsman as the number 8 moves up into the 7th place spot. There's Mike Howerton, the number 51 machine, starting to pull his way up. Barry Stevens, Kenny Meadows also in this freight train. They're starting to get a little bit of a run going here. They've got about 30 laps so far. Lap time still looking good. Most drivers just over a second off their fastest laps of the night. And look at this. This is from 7th place back to 11th in a tiny little pack. This is where you can see the long run drivers start to find some ground. Braxton DeWeese, a great example of that in the number 8 machine, getting progressively, I guess not faster as the run goes on, but more importantly, not slowing down as much as the other drivers is the best way to judge their long run potential. but DeWeese steps out the back end. That may give Gwinningsman a chance to fire back. Gwinningsman knows if he doesn't have forward momentum, Howerton and Stevens are right behind, and they'll be more than happy to try and take advantage of a situation where a couple of drivers are bogging themselves down with a bit of a battle. And this is definitely the closest battle we have out on track. Your race leader, Colby Baber, he's about 4/10 ahead of Centeni. Centeni 2 seconds ahead of Matt White in third. Howard's number 51 machine has closed the gap to a quarter of a second behind the bright number 9, the all red and black number 9 of Gwinningsman. The problem these drivers are going to have this late into the run with the tires falling off, everybody doing just about identical lap times here. As Gwinningsman and DeWeese with a little bit of a breakaway. Let's go a little bit further back. Brent Wall, Robert Cook battling for the 12th place spot. Cook working the inside line. Looks like he's going to make it happen. Who was that? Was that... I thought that was maybe Villalobos. The 45 had a big moment. Losing the back end. As you can definitely tell, the car's starting to tighten up, plowing into the corners, trying to naturally drift themselves towards the outside wall, which is definitely not where you want to be if you can't keep that car turned in. As I say that, Timothy Davis has problems. The 92 machine pushes it too wide, tagging the outside wall. That's going to allow John Midget and I believe Richard Mulligani trying to facilitate a pass. We check back in on Mike Howerton. He's got Barry Stevens right behind him. Chad Gwinningsman right in front. Guys are still rocking and rolling. Stevens in the 7 gate. He's up 2 positions. He has his eyes set on Howerton's 51 machine. Oh, and here we go. Stevens throws it in deep, the inside line. 26 laps left to go. Side by side with Howerton. Ooh, looked like it could have been contact between Stevens and Howerton. Driving the wheels off these things. It's Chevy versus Ford in the battle for ninth. Side by side they go once more. Howerton pulls a 10th going into 1. Stevens trying to throw it in deep on the brakes, but surely they don't have that much tire left underneath them. And they're going to go 2 wide, 2 deep. Gwinningsman, Howerton, Stevens, Braxton, DeWeese, the gang's all here. Looked like I saw the 55 machine of Scott Stevens maybe briefly trying to get a lap back. Laps rapidly clicking off. Drivers still trying to make something happen. Your race leader Baber has pulled a 1.1 second gap over second place Centini, who is pacing him for the absolute longest time. These are those long runs we were talking about. Winningsman steps out the back end. These three drivers all linked up nose to tail. You can see Braxton DeWeese. He's about 6/10 ahead of the bright red number 9 machine. And a whole lot of excitement going on between these three. As we go side by side once more, Gwinnigsman and Howerton. Stevens looking for a way through. Gwinnigsman up high, Howerton down low. It's the 9 and the 51 battling for that 8th place spot. And Barry Stevens, this 78, has front row seats. Howerton defends on the inside line, trying to make Gwinnigsman go around the long way, and we hint at going 3 wide. Stevens thought about sticking the nose in there. You guys are driving the wheels off these things. Looks like Howerton has the advantage. He'll hold on to the 8th place spot. Gwinnigsman now 9th, but keep an eye on Barry Stevens, showing he wants just a little bit more here. So now Stevens looks to the inside line going into 3. Does he have the tires left underneath him to help make that pass happen? Looks like yes is the answer. And now Stevens gonna try and put his head down, see if he can catch up to the number 51 of Howerton as everybody starts to get stretched out a little bit here. The laps rapidly clicking off as the field starts to get spread out ever so slightly. Will we make it to the end without another late race caution? We've seen races decided on pit road when that yellow flag comes out towards the end of a race, undoing all the work these drivers, especially the long run heavy drivers, have done. So hopefully we can keep this thing rocking and rolling. As we check Ben back up front with Colby Baber. 1.3 second advantage. And no signs of slowing down here. Looks like John Binder trying to close the gap to Brent Wall in what's shaping up to be a battle for 13th. Binder closing the gap, looking to the inside wall of the number 6. Not quite able to get his nose in there. Catching the draft, he's going to try it once more into 3. Looks like Binder makes the pass happen against Wall. Is Wall going to fire back here? As they go side by side through 1 and 2. Binder hugging the yellow line. Wall up high in the 6th. And yes, Binder will make it 8 positions gained so far. And trying to get that late race charge going. Now Binder has about a 2-second disadvantage to Robert Cook. But it looks like he's closing the gap rather quickly to the 64. I take that back. I thought he had more of a run. It got down to about 1.6, 1.5 seconds difference between the two. As there goes somebody around. That's Julio Villalobos Jr. having what looked like a solo car incident. And that will bring out the caution once more with 12 to go. Let's take a look, see what happened there. Taking a look to see what happened to that number 45 machine of Villalobos. Just just too much throttle, sent it around, locks up the brakes, kept it going relatively the right direction, kept it off the wall. But that was enough to bring out the yellow flag. And we will once again go to pacing conditions dangerously late in the race, just like we were talking about. That's all it takes to throw a wrench in the plans here. Faber trying to catch up to our iRacing safety car. Got a few drivers. I thought were coming down pit road, but it's actually just John Midget with another heavy blink of that number 29 machine. And it looks like everybody diving down pit road for a late race call. Looks like just about everybody coming in here, so it's going to be interesting. I would imagine at least a few guys are going to try a 2-tire stop to gain some late race positions. As we will give you the update on who takes what here on this stop. What could be very well the final stop, I would imagine. Robert Norfleet. A risky move, takes 2. Colby Baber taking 4. Let's see, does anybody else take 2? Looks like John Binder, the 33 machine, a 2-tire stop. So just Robert Norfleet, who gains the lead off of pit road in the 56 machine. He takes 2, and John Binder, the 33 machine, takes 2. This is going to be interesting. How will the 2 tires pan out for Robert Norfleet? Looks like Scott Stevens has had problems in the 55 going back to pit road. Taking a tow back to pit road. We're going to get him gridded up, double file behind our iRacing safety car. As we get ready to go green with Norfleet, Baber in the front row, Centenny, White your second row, Bell, Longacre your third row. Race car dives down pit road. Let's see what they can do here. Norfleet, may get dinged for that one for not holding lane position. He drifted very, very high as we go 3 wide for second. It's Baber, Centenny, and White all in the fray. Oh, and we've got somebody crashing towards the back. That's Scott Stevens. And around goes Centenny. The field stacks up. And who would have thought the big one would happen here at New Hampshire? It started with Stevens at the back, and the crash just kept coming. There's going to be some very upset racers for this one. So I'm going to try and wait for them all to get gridded up again before we see what on earth happened. And let's take a look at that rapid-fired pizza instant replay. So let's see where this party started. It started with Scott Stevens, the 55 machine here towards the back. And what happened there? It looks like John Midget blinked out in front of him. Let's back that camera angle out a little bit. Everybody bumping and grinding in front of him going into 1 and 2. And it looks like Stevens just kind of all by his lonesome here. So Stevens looks like, yes, he's already got that back end around, so that's going to be a solo incident. Spinning around through turn 2. Let's see now what happened to David Centenny in the 79 machine. And where it started, looks like there's going to be, does he come up into White? Does White go down? Regardless, the two hook up there. White and Centenny make contact. White bounces off the wall. Around goes Centenny. Hard into the wall, and then everybody's going to come piling in. I see Evan Longacre there on the left side of your screen. I think that was Matt White in the 48 with a heavy impact. Around goes Gwinnigsman, the number 9 machine, also involved in that. And just the field getting plowed here. Kenny Meadows with an off-track excursion. And just like that, things have got exciting once more here at the tail end of things here in New Hampshire. But we're going to re-rack them once more, see what we can do, because it's quickly holding true that cautions breed cautions. As we try and get the last stragglers gridded up here. Everybody trying to get into formation, figure out where they settle in here with that very late race caution. Try and get everybody re-racked. Looks like just about everybody's out on track. Gwinnigsman still out on track. Excuse me, in pit road. Billy Fitzgerald, he's been there for a long time, 35 minutes so far. Looking at all the different drivers, the fair amount of damage here. Norfleet maybe feeling pretty good here after that 2-tire stop on lap 146. Looks like it's going to be 19 drivers still on the lead lap. Most drivers able to get back out on track after that lap 151 incident. Here we go, gridded up double file for what could very well be the final time. Norfleet starting front and left this time by. Ventini's going to try and follow on the inside line. There's Evan Longacre, Douglas Bell in the top 5, as well as Colby Baber, all knowing this is what it's going to come down to. Norfleet with another good launch, still drifting up high there. Ventini's going to try and throw it in deep on the inside line. Are we going to keep things rolling here? Everybody stacking up deep. It's Norfleet, Baber, Centeni. As we hear somebody spin around, I think that might have been Timothy Davis in the 92. White flag is out though. Robert Norfleet trying to hold on to it. Here comes Baber, the number 10 machine. Centeni spins it around. They're going to pile up behind him. The 45 of Villalobos and Centeni in the mix. Just like that, here comes Douglas Bell, the number 11 machine. He's going to get second. Norfleet picking up the win. And Baber's going to edge out a third. My, oh my, what a finish. As everybody piles it in here. Davis trying to limp it down to the start-finish line, the 92. The Xfinity Tour Mod Series. Oh! And there's violence. Davis will get ejected from this one. And let's take a quick look at that last lap. What a finish. We're focusing in on Centeni in the 79 machine. That's going to be Matt White right behind him. On the instant replay of the final lap, Centeni was up front all night long. Throws it in deep through 1 and 2. And just unfortunately loses the back end. White able to get clear as the field stacks in behind him. Everybody going for a ride. And then Colby Baber was able to eke by. No, excuse me, Longacre was just barely able to eke by Colby Baber there. What a finish, what a finish. That's going to do it up here in the booth for me as Robert Norfleet celebrates the win here in New Hampshire. As always, thank you to our fans, friends, and family tuning in each and every week supporting the broadcast, with the unofficial results going to Robert Norfleet, Douglas Bell, and Evan Longacre in the top 3. As always, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name's been James East. Thank you all so much. As we pass it over to our podium staff, I look forward to seeing you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.
All right, here we go. We are headed down to pit lane to interview our podium finishers here at virtual New Hampshire Speedway for the Rapid Fired Pizza League. And we're going to start off with the third-place finisher, Evan Longacre. Evan, you had a good, solid run. We were there together a lot during the race, and you pulled away. And, man, you had a pretty good car tonight. How does it feel to be on the podium tonight?
No, it's definitely good. It's good to rebound. I feel like I had a weird speeding penalty on the last of the race, so that's kind of frustrating at Atlanta. So it's nice to have something where, you rebound and end up with a solid finish. I feel like I kind of lucked into this one. So I kind of had some bad luck coming into the pits there and had a couple guys wrecking around me at Atlanta. So I had bad luck that caused me to get a speeding penalty to avoid a wreck. And then, so it's nice to, I guess, kind of luck into a third-place finish here. I guess karma does exist a little bit, and there's a feng shui to the universe.
Evan, a driver never turns away good luck. So what broke your way this race that was good luck for you?
No, so I started like 13th, and I just seemed to have a car that didn't really get tight. It was a little loose coming out of some of the corners. I just steadily picked my way up through the field, and it looked like I kind of plateaued in about 7th. There was that late caution. I did get kind of a bad jump, so I think I may have screwed up Braxton a little bit on that restart. I think he ran into the back of me because I didn't get a good jump on that one. But something happened where, David was sideways with 2 to go or 1 to go or whatever, and that got Colby slowed down. So, that kind of took Braxton off my heels, and, I was able to drag race Colby to the line here. So I definitely got lucky in that. I think that's literally the only lap that I finished where I was ahead of David and Colby. So, that's kind of how I ended up here. But, it'll just say third on there. It doesn't exactly say how I got it done.
It just matters what the results are as you cross the finish line, and the only lap of the race that matters, I guess, is the last lap. So, Evan, man, congratulations on your win tonight. This track is a bit different. It's pretty much a flat track. There's actually a little bit of inversion in the banking there on the bottom line. Did you guys struggle a bit with setup this week, or was there any changes you guys made?
Yes and no. So I had some help here from Jeffrey Meyer with the setup, and he worked with me a little bit and helped me get a little more comfortable. It's a tough track because, you got to have the car turn. You don't want it to get tight, but you also don't want to be loose. You literally get no help from the track at all as far as turning. So it's all just purely mechanical grip. So I got to, thanks to Jeffrey Meyer and Nitro Racing for helping me with the setup some this week, and worked with my teammates and stuff. So that was OSN Racing. It's just a tough track.
Yeah, absolutely, and congratulations on your top 3, man. You earned it, and it's always good to have good breaks. Evan, is there anybody else you want to thank or any final thoughts as we close out the interview tonight?
Yeah, no, I got to thank you for doing the interviews like this. I got to thank Goon Squad for doing the broadcasts. The bank that I work at, First Savings Bank, for their run the paint scheme for the bank that I work at. Got to thank Old School Ninjas and David Santini for doing this, adminning this with me. Thanks to Brandon for being race control. Thanks to Rapid Fire Pizza for sponsoring the league, and most importantly, just everybody that comes out here and runs with us. I really enjoy racing with everybody, and it's awesome to have a good field week in and week out. So thanks to everybody for showing up and putting on a show.
Thanks, Evan, and that was your third-place finisher, Evan Longacre. Moving up to the second-place finisher tonight, Doug Bell. He is a newcomer to the league here, only been with us for a few weeks, but quickly found his way to the podium tonight. Doug, give us your thoughts on the race tonight, especially there towards the end. I know that there was a call from iRacing, a scoring call that didn't go your way. What was kind of going through your mind, and how did you kind of attack that whenever the last green-white checkered flag dropped on the green?
Oh, there it is. Sorry, wrong. Yeah, I was trying not to wreck because there was lots of wrecks.
Well, avoiding wrecks is a recipe for success, especially a short track. You had a strong finish tonight, and I see you changed your paint scheme. You got a nice-looking purple and white car there. We appreciate you being here in the league with us, and coming in later in the league, do you think you have a shot at making the playoffs?
Well, first of all, I got to thank Fine Points for making the paint job. Beautiful douche paint job. Giant douche in the car. Not giant douche on the outside. The way to go. I didn't listen to the rest of the question. Say.
I said you kind of got a late start in the league here, about halfway through. I was wondering if you feel like if you can get enough podium finishes that you'll still make the playoffs this season.
Oh, I'm not really concerned about that. I just learned how to do the grip flick, and I was having a lot of fun doing it. So finishing where I can finish.
All right, that video is loaded up in the Rapid Fire Pizza Discord for anybody who wants to watch it. Doug uploaded that for everybody. Doug, any final thoughts today you want to thank tonight for the everything that happened in the race, and any final thoughts?
Nope.
All right, folks, there you have it. Doug Bell, second place finisher. We're going to head on down to Victory Lane. Robert Norfleet won the race tonight. He is your winner here at Virtual New Hampshire Speedway. Robert, then it's good to have you in the winner's circle. I believe this is your first win. Correct me if I'm wrong, but how does it feel to win this race tonight?
Actually, I won earlier in the year at Martinsville. It was a fun race. Made a good call. Taking 2 tires there on that last stop. And was able to hold everybody off and kind of got lucky on pit strategy. I think Dave and Santini and Colby was a little faster, so that was really my only shot, and was able to pull it off.
Well, Robert, I knew you would correct me if I was wrong on that one.
Heck yeah.
Looking at Martinsville. And looking at Martinsville and New Hampshire, I mean, as far as the shape of the track, they're very similar shapes, and they both have flat turns. New Hampshire's about twice as big as Martinsville. So do you think that played into your win tonight, the fact that you do really well on this type of track?
They both drive and race quite different. Team just gave me a pretty good setup, and like I said, good call there at the end, and able to get a 1-2 finish for the mid racing.
So, Robert, whenever the yellow flag dropped on that first caution around lap 145, you were in 4th place, and you ended up winning the race. So what was your strategy on those restarts, and how did you make your way up to first place and winning the race tonight?
Well, I came out of the pits first. I thought it was the only car, to my knowledge, that took 2 tires, and was able to get good restarts, and honestly, the car drove really good on 2 tires. Colby on the last lap made a run on the inside, but it's just hard to pass and hard to do anything down there. So honestly, track position was king.
Good deal. Looking forward to next week. We're at Pocono, a wildly different track than this. What's your strategy, and what are you guys looking to do to get ready for next week at Pocono?
Just try to find a good setup, something that'll get us through the corner so we can go down those long straightaways fast. And strategy always comes into play there as well. So have to see what the power wear is, and there's a lot to do to get ready for that race. It's a fun track.
Robert, anybody you want to thank, or any final thoughts here as we close out this broadcast tonight?
Well, thank my teammates, Rapid Fire Pizza for sponsoring the league, the admins for putting it on, and just everybody that comes out here and races. We all have a good time doing it, and makes Thursday nights a little bit more enjoyable.
Folks, there you have it. Robert Norfleet, your winner of the race tonight here at Virtual New Hampshire Speedway in the Rapid Fire Pizza National Series. We'd like to thank all y'all for being here and watching. Also like to thank all the drivers who show up each and every week and run these races, and they make this happen. Also, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Rapid Fire Pizza, along with the Old School Ninjas who make this league possible. And a big, big shout out to our race control, Brandon. He does not get the recognition he deserves. He sits there behind the booth and makes the calls for us. Brandon Davis there in race control. We just want to let him know we appreciate him and thank him very much for all that he does. We are glad that you guys are with us tonight. Hope you show up next week for the Pocono race here in the Rapid Fire Pizza National Series League. For myself, Mike Howerton, and everyone here in the league, thank you so much for being here. And as always, we will see you in the next one.